Hey there, sweet souls. I wanted to make this video to kind of lend a different perspective, a little bit of a higher perspective, meaning kind of why all of this is going on, why it's happening, because it's happening for us. It's not happening to us. And I'm going to use a little bit of numerology because I think it's interesting and something you may not have seen somebody post about or do a video about. And the thing to know about numerology is that everything is based on the numbers 0 through 9. Aside from master numbers, we reduce everything down to a single digit, to those 0 through 9, or basically would reduce down to 1 through 9. And that means that something like 12 would be 1 plus 2, which would equal 3. So that's how we would interpret that number. And I'm gonna draw it out because this is what I do in my numerology and tarot workshop, and I think it really helps to see it, to really kind of, because we see numbers all the time, but when we see them just looking at them singular, it really helps to, what is the vibe and the feeling of that number. So if we break down the number 9, and if we look at it, it is actually the 0 and the 1 combined. And that's because 9 is the last number. 10 would be 1, we would reduce it down to a single digit. It would be 1 plus the 0. So 9 is the 0 and the 1. It is really signifying ends and beginnings, beginning and endings. And the other thing about the 9 is that when we're seeing repeating 9s versus seeing repeating 4s or repeating 8s and repeating 3s, those all mean different things. Seeing repeating 9s, 9 is a purpose number. So 9, when I tell people if you're seeing a lot of 9s, is really like, hey, time to get going, time to get doing what you came here to do, what you naturally love, what you're naturally good at, because you've honed it over many past lives versus doing what your parents wanted you to do or what you think is going to make you money. And that's, again, that's kind of operating from only putting our faith in what we can touch and see with our hands and our eyeballs. So 9 is really a purpose number, and 9 is that ending and beginning. And then if we have the 1 is kind of exactly what it looks like. 1 is beginnings. 1 is leadership. 1 is, innovation. It is time. This is why repeating 1111 or 111 is the most common repeating number that people see on the clock, because it's a sign of new beginnings, awakening, and it's really a sign of, oh, hey, wow, I really am being guided. I really am being supported. Why? Because we are souls with a body. We are not a body with a soul. And we did not come here just to pay bills and die. We are always being guided. We are always being communicated with. We are always being supported. It's just that spirit doesn't speak to us in complete sentences. It uses numbers, it uses symbols, it uses feathers, it uses coins, it uses songs that get stuck in our head, it uses every overheard conversation, every person that contacted you today to every person that did not contact you today, to why I just chose this blouse today and these earrings. And I'll talk about that at the end, because I had totally planned to wear something else, and this was vibrating out in my closet. And so if we reduce this down to a single number, because we wouldn't leave it as a 19, we would get 10, and then we would get 1. So this is really our new beginning, and people are referring to the new paradigm shift. Totally, totally, totally. This is really our time of beginning. And it's interesting to note that this is our time to really take time to see, oh gosh, am I really doing what I want to be doing? Am I doing what I've always kind of been nudged or wanted to do, whether that's write more or paint more or get back into singing or get that yoga certification or always wanted to open up a cupcake shop. I don't know, not that you're going to open up a cupcake shop right now, but starting listening to those ideas, because the main goal, vision board, might be the cupcake shop, but spirit is always going to give you what to do now to get to that shop. So, and it's interesting to bring up that it was actually during the plague in 1665 in Europe, that when people were retreated to their homes again, that Isaac Newton came up with his theory of gravity. And so we are literally being forced right now into that more, not only yin state, yin is feminine energy, which is relaxation and taking time for a bubble bath, and getting our nails done, and receiving and allowing and nurturing, and cooking a little bit more, or finally getting into cooking instead of just ordering out all the time and heating up frozen food. So it is really forcing us to, and hopefully out of this, majority of people will then realize, okay, it's time now to go after what I really want to do. The other way is not working, which is masculine energy, masculine energy rules the right side of the body. So masculine energy is action, is going, is doing, is the sun. Feminine energy is allowing, receiving, and intuition, and it rules the left side of the body. And I bring this up because most people have more pain on the left side of the body than the right. Why? Because we've discredited and pushed aside intuition. We label it as extra, or only when I have time for it. I would love to take up meditation. Intuition doesn't mean meditation. It just means you're able to hear the guidance first, and then you act on it. This is why somebody can send 2 emails in a day and get both people to respond right away and sign up or say yes, or it's a fruitful partnership or whatever it is, versus somebody else who sends 50 emails in a day because the just action and going and always doing is a sign of being productive, or that you got stuff done. It's not supposed to be that difficult. It's not supposed to be an uphill battle. Remember, everything you want is downstream. But you have to let go of the paddles. You have to move with the guidance that you're getting. But we were never taught how intuition comes through, how it speaks to us, how it communicates. It is communicating through us through repeating numbers, whether that's on a receipt or a license plate or a time that you always see. It's through symbols, it's through colors, it's through songs that get stuck in our head, it's everything. Why? Because we are souls with a body, not a body with a soul. So we are being forced now to start listening to that, because we need a new way of operating. We need a new way of being. And I can go way more into this topic, and I have, of course, on my podcast, so check it out, or leave me questions, and I'm happy to elaborate further on future videos. But I also did, numerology isn't just numbers. We also do it it's mainly based on your name. So we'll do the your birthday, but it's really based on your name, your given name that's on your birth certificate. So first, if you have a middle name, and last. Why? Because it's the idea that you chose your name just as you chose your parents, and you chose where you're going to be born based on the lessons and karma you need to work through from your soul. This is why we've had many past lives, usually with family members, usually not. It can be with strangers, but mainly family members, because we're still working on things. This is why family is such a big trigger a lot of times, because there's stuff there we're still working out. So numerology is mainly based on your name. It's always interesting what's hidden right in our name, because again, we chose our name. And if we do it for the name of this virus, and I think it might have a full, more correct name, but I just did it even for the nickname, so to speak, because even when I do numerology for others, it's interesting, even if they get married or go by a nickname, usually there's some sort of energy that's still following them. Even if they go by a nickname, there's something still there. It changes, but it's like if they always had an 8 in their first name, and it's the only 8 they have, then their nickname, it's funny, the 8 is still there. Or they don't go by the nickname and they get married, and then the 8 is in the last name. So if we do it for this, it is a 30, which reduces down to a 3. And a 30 means, the 3 means something different versus if it was a 12 equaling the 3. A 0 amplifies anything that it is with. So 5050 is amplifying the 5. 8080 is amplifying the 8. And so the 3 here, 3 represents, if 1 is like the masculine energy, so the father, linear masculine energy, action, going, doing, taking action, inspired action. 2 is feminine. So again, receiving, allowing, intuition is like the mother. 3 is like the child. And 3 is not only communication, but 3 is probably in numerology the most creative number. It has that energy behind it, more so than like the 9, or more so than the 4 or the 5. And 3, if we look at in tarot, is the Empress. And in this tarot deck, this is the sacred Indian tarot deck, is the 3, she's pregnant. This is about fertility, creation. Again, getting that creative side out. That's why, just as a side note, people always think, okay, so if 1 is masculine and 2 is the feminine energy, 2 is not the Lover's card in tarot. People always think that, well, 2 and partnership and 2 people together. No, 6 is the Lover's card. 6 is, and if you look at it, 6 looks like somebody who's pregnant. It's a very nurturing number. Somebody who has a lot of 6s in their name is they're usually great caretakers. They're good at nurses and doctors. It's that really feminine energy, almost looks like it's pregnant. So the Lover's card is 6 in tarot. It's not 2. 1 is masculine energy, the sun, going, doing, the right side of the body. 2 is feminine, allowing, receiving, intuition, the moon, nighttime, water, fire, masculine. So 2 is not the Lover's card, it's 6. So we're in a time of creation. And just to bring up something that I Am Shahara Rose, which I loved her video the other day, it really, like some of the things she said, I was like, oh my gosh, I knew this new beginning, new paradigm shift was here. But she brought up the toilet paper. And this toilet paper thing, several things, but the main thing about it is that it is literally like our root chakra. Our root chakra is our base. You can't build any of the other chakras or build anything on a base that is, on a foundation that is not good. So our base is being torn apart, destructed, because you can't build it on a base that's all masculine. That's all just doing and going all the time, never inspired action, and never letting any of that feminine energy come through. It's like having fire all the time. And we also can't have water all the time. We know what happens, typhoons, things like that. We can't have fire. We need both. But too much of the other puts the other one out, and we've been living too much the other way. Hence, even the fire when we're going all the time, it literally burns through the one cell wall thick lining in our gut, and we get a lot of autoimmune comes from that, because we're just going all the time. We're always in that fight or flight mode. Feminine energy is that parasympathetic. It's rest and relaxation and digestion. So we're not even absorbing the nutrients that we eat in a hurry. So anyway, just wanted to lend a little different perspective on that, and wanted to end on a note that these earrings are actually from a shop in Milan. It's a women-owned company. It's 2 women. They design the lace. So they design this. They don't cut it out. They design it. The guy makes it in Milan, and then they dye it. And they're super lightweight because they're lace, so they weigh nothing. I have lots of pairs from them. I get a pair every year. These are these cobalt ones that are beautiful and amazing. And I do not wear these with cobalt because that would be too matchy-matchy. I have a pink pair. The name is Tita Bijou. Bijou is French for jewelry, because I think their mom is French and the father is Italian. These are heart ones, again, all out of lace, so they weigh nothing. They design it and then dye it a color. So I had to bring a little fashion and beauty into it. I got this not ear cuff. You would just wear it on one side, and so I will wear that. And that's just a little shout out to Milan, my favorite city, and a woman-owned company that makes beautiful, stylish stuff. So thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.